Okay, so now you worked on your robot for a little while and you've done a little bit of animation. So I'm going to play this one through the student example and you're going to see legs move, arms move, great. And if you've seen, he's animated about 2 seconds, a little bit less than 2 seconds worth of that, but that's fine. I just want to see that you know how to move those things around. Now what we want to do with the remainder of time is make this thing walk across the screen. So to do that, I would take my playhead and I would advance it to a point where everything else is done. All right, wherever your last keyframe is on any one of your layers, you want to advance it beyond all that. If I look at my right arm, my left arm, they all kind of end around the same spot. My legs, they end earlier. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to make one keyframe at the exact same time for every single one of them. So everything is going to start at the same time, wherever you decide that's going to be. And again, all your previous keyframes need to be to the left of the timeline at this point. So for the head, since he didn't make the head move, I'm just going to activate transform. Here's my keyframe. The left arm, I need to create a new keyframe, just a marker. To do that, you see where you have these two little triangles and you have the diamond in between it. That diamond, click it, and you'll create a new keyframe. And you'll see that. And I'll do that again for the right arm. I'll just click it and create a new keyframe. And if you notice, you see all my keyframes right now are all aligned for every layer. I'll go to the left leg, the same thing. I'll go to the right leg, same thing. If he's going to walk across the screen, we just need to make sure that every piece is starting at the same time. If they start at even slightly different times, the body won't hold together as you move across the screen. Now what we're going to do is, now that I've done all that, I'm going to grab my move tool. I have my auto select on and show transform controls. Now I'm going to select outside of a shape and I'm going to select through the whole thing, and you'll see what's happened is I've selected everything. And if you look at your layer window, you'll see everything is selected. If your background happens to be visible at this point, you should have made it invisible. Otherwise the background's going to move with everything. So I've got all my head, my arms, everything's all one. Now what I want to do that's selected is I want to take my playhead and I want to advance it to another point in time. It can go all the way to the end. It can go halfway to the end if you have a lot of time. Doesn't matter. But I want to decide how long is he going to walk across the screen. And if you want that to be fast, well, it'll be close. If you want it to be slow, it'll be far apart. And then I'm going to click and drag and just slide him across the screen. As soon as I drop them, new keyframes should be made for every single layer. You see they popped up already. And if I did this correctly, when I scrub through this, you'll notice he just slides across the screen. Okay, from one side to the other. You can play it to see how quickly that's happening. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to take this. Now I have the basic movement. I know he's here to start, he's here to end. Now what I want to do is I want to take a few steps. So I'm going to start with the leg on the outside going towards the walk. So this leg is the right, he's going to the right. I'm going to start with the right leg. Get to my right leg. I'll go from the beginning of that walk and I'll just take, like, I don't know, a little step. Maybe look at the space here and maybe think about dividing it into almost like 4 pieces. You can just approximate. It's not a big deal. And now what I'm going to do with this leg is I'm going to turn the leg and make it look like it is sort of stepping forward. So I'll kind of reposition it. And when I have it the way I want it, I'll hit enter. And I'll create a new keyframe. So now the first step, this leg picks up. And now I'm going to go maybe about the same amount of space behind it. And now it went forward the first time. And to walk, I'm going to make it go a little bit backward the next time. So it swung forward. Now it swings back. I'll hit enter. And it should look like he's taking one step forward. Or if it was on an imaginary skateboard, like he's kicking himself forward. I'll go again, and I'll animate this leg one time to go forward. One more time at least to go forward. I'll hit enter. And then I can do one last quick little back step here. All right, and if I don't like the positioning of them, I can mess around with that later. So let's take a look at what I've got. Okay, so it looks like he's taking a couple little steps. All right, now what I want to do is I want to go to the opposite leg, my left leg, and I want to start on the left leg. And what I want to do is I can kind of do it at the same intervals that I did the last one. So in this case, this leg was going forward. So the opposite leg should go backward a little bit. And that's probably too far back, so I'm going to just fix it until I like it, and I'll hit enter. And then now, as that leg is going backwards, I want to make sure that this leg goes forwards. So this, if you were walking, would be a little crisscross. And now, as the other leg is now going forward again, we want to make this leg go backwards. So whatever the first leg is doing, if it's going towards the right, then the other leg should go towards the left. If this leg is going towards the left, then that one should go towards the right. So you're just making each step sort of opposite one another. I'll go ahead and make my last one over here, and then hit enter, and then you'll see him. Okay, he's taking a couple of steps over there. It's a little weird because it's a robot, but that's all I want to see that you guys do. If you have plenty of extra space, you can make him walk the other way. I would also go back in there and make your arms wobble a little bit. And you can always do the same thing that we do in regular walking is, hey, if this leg is going backwards, this arm will do the same thing as this leg. If the left arm is going to be synchronized basically with this leg. So we can kind of go and see what's happening. This leg is going forward, so that arm should probably go forward. Okay. That leg is going back. That leg's probably got to go back. And forward. And back one more time. And that will give us our wobbling arms and legs. Okay? And that is walking. The next video I'll be posting, I'll post a separate one on adding the background and exporting this out when it's totally done.